So let's look at this one real quick. She's white. Why don't you go eat a scone, you whitey? Okay, obviously that's not that big of a deal, but still it can be hurtful. And the best way to show racism is try to flip it. Flip it to your race as well. And I'm up here trying to advocate for minorities of America, mainly anyone who was not dominantly here or is mainly has racial slurs or jokes made about them more often than not. The reason why I picked this topic is most of my life I've always been pretty passionate about equal rights, men, women, races, anybody. And there's always news trying to push that racism is getting better. And throughout the research I've done, it's completely a lie. What I'm here to talk to you guys about is racism between, I couldn't pick all races, but I picked mainly three: Muslims, Mexicans, and African Americans. So, first one I'm going to start off with is the ones that get picked on since 9/11. Obviously, a day we're all never going to forget, but still gets racially discriminated more often than not. Since 9/11, Muslim racism has grown. From the Journal of Muslim and Mental Health states, it has grown 1,700% increase in hate crimes since 9/11 against Muslims. Which obviously, yes, that's going to happen after the first year or so. But what happens is people just generalize it. Obviously, it was one select group that did this. And if you generalize to all Muslims that they are going to do this, think the same way, and blame them for that, it's just criminal. And they are one of the most hated groups of all time, second to blacks, just because of that one event. And it gets to the point where people that look like them, not even Muslims, Arabic people from that general area, they get picked on, they get discriminated against. And it's to the point where they're afraid to come here, which is odd because America, the United States, which the United States of America got added later. The United States was grown and built from other people coming from other countries, and people mad about that is just kind of contradictory. And go switch to second main one, which is Mexicans and the big talk now. People seem to forget Mexicans have been here since World War II. We brought them here to work for us because so many people had to go over to Germany that we had to bring them here so we could keep jobs and productions going. And nowadays, people will talk about them going back. Obviously, to be here illegally, yes, that's a problem. But then again, like with Muslims, it gets generalized. A Hispanic woman makes 54 cents less than a white male in most jobs. And 20% of Hispanic males and females live in poverty. I'm not saying that's towards racism, but also people think, well, that's just because of them, and that is more often than not a racial thought, just blaming their poverty on their race. Then Huffington Post states, the survey they had experienced much about 40% of Hispanics in a survey said they had experienced much discrimination personally, including just 13% that deals with it more often than not. And now we're going to go to the ones that have basically been here the most, been picked on the most: blacks, African Americans. Like I said, they've been here the longest. We literally got them, put them on boats, and brought them here to work for us as slaves. And now people are mad that they are here and discriminate against them, which is crazy. I'm sorry, but I just don't get it. We brought them here. Now we're mad about it. Most people are. They make up 13% of our population, and 14% of them, 14 of that 13% are drug users. But they are 37% of the people that get arrested for drugs. The math just doesn't add up. And like I told earlier in one of our group talks, blacks are 4 times more likely to be arrested than whites in all across the United States. But in Minnesota, Washington, D.C., and Iowa, it is 8 times more likely to be arrested, which doesn't make sense because whites, blacks, Hispanics, Muslims, everybody do crimes at basically the same rate. Then at DoSomething.org, it states, African American males have a 32% chance of going to jail in their lifetime, and white males is 6%. Where the justification for that, no one really states. In conclusion, I've talked to you guys about racism with Muslims, Mexicans, and blacks, which is obviously not all that gets discriminated against, but the top 3 I could pick. And to close, this entire country is made around immigrants and others coming to this country. And to send them back, or just to make racial slurs or anything against them, is very contradictory. The best way to help out racism is to stop talking about it. But the problem is, you can't inform people unless you talk about it. So, in my defense, this entire speech about racism was very contradictory, but I'm glad you guys know.